Rebekah Roth here again, and with the burning question, what happened to that missing $2.3 trillion that Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld told us about on September 10th, 2001? What happened to that? What's the story there? Who was the banker? Who was the banker there that lost $2.3 trillion of Pentagon money? How come nobody ever looked for it? Has anybody ever wondered whatever happened to that money? That's a lot of money to just misplace. It went missing. Well, it's interesting because I wanted to know that answer too. Well, what about that money? Well, I don't know where it ended up, but I did find an interesting trail to the missing money, to the banker, number one. He's called a comptroller of the Pentagon, and his name was Rabbi Dov Zakheim. You heard that correctly. Rabbi Dov Zakheim. He's an Israeli American. And he was the comptroller, the banker at the Pentagon. Now, he has an interesting backstory, side story, interesting story. He's associated with two other companies. He was the CEO of a company called SPC Corporation, let me just explain it to you this way because it kind of gets involved. But what SPC Corporation did is they run the software, I guess, and the ability to fly our drones from, let's just say, Creech Air Force Base there in Nevada, just north of Las Vegas. I happen to know because I know a drone pilot that was based there. So from there, he can be flying a drone in Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq, anywhere. So that software and the little compartments that these controllers can be controlling was built by SPC Corporation, Rabbi Dov Zakheim's other company. Be convenient to be the comptroller at the Pentagon. I'm sure he's got some great connections, you think? But then he had another connection that's even kind of more wild than that. He is also associated with, I guess he was a CEO of a company called Tri-Data Corporation. Now, I looked this up a long time ago, so this is just coming out of my 9/11 file in my head. But the Tri-Data Corporation got a bunch of repair work after the 1993 FBI bombing of the World Trade Center. You heard that correctly. Because the FBI hired an Egyptian intelligence guy who wrote a book about it. You can read it too. Imad Salem, his book is Undercover. How he built the bombs. And the FBI had promised him that the explosives would be inert. They wouldn't blow up. But they did, because we all saw that. There's another side story to him as well. We'll get into that in depth as well, because it all fits together just like a puzzle. So here we have this guy. He's missing $2.3 trillion. He did repair work for the World Trade Center towers. And I wonder, now I've been told this by people in the know that have tried, architects, after 9/11, it was impossible to get the blueprints for the Twin Towers. They just wouldn't give them up. I don't know why. The buildings obviously were gone, but they wouldn't give them up. But I've always wondered if Tri-Data, doing the repair work after the 1993 bombing, managed to get the blueprints for the towers. I don't know, but it's a question you should probably be asking. Because it's very convenient that a guy who operates drones, and by the way, if you go to the Mojave Air and Space Boneyard, actually, it's an airport, but if you go there, I think it's an F4 Phantom out front, and it's painted with orange tips on the tail and the wings, and it designates that that's a drone. There's no pilot inside. They use it for targeting. So this drone technology has been around since like the 60s. So I know a lot of people thought these were drone aircraft that crashed in there. They certainly weren't. a 767, 757, because there was no plane stuff left from those aircraft. The jets that they found at the Pentagon and elsewhere at the landfill, they weren't the right jets. They weren't the right engines. They weren't the right black box. It's all crazy. And I busted every single lie. I swear to God, I've busted every lie they put out there, because I've had so many people join me that it's like, well, let's look into this and let's just go there. And so that's what we've done. So anyway, there you go. You've got one guy that had access to possibly the blueprints, access to the building. We have a guy who also was involved with all the drones, and he was the banker, the comptroller of the Pentagon, and he is a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi named Dov Zakheim. He's a kind of a well-known Zionist, kind of a warmonger type guy. Very interesting story. You can look him up. You can read all kinds of stuff about him. But I thought that was really interesting because, again, Rumsfeld announced that's a lot of money missing on December 10th, and then no one ever mentioned it again. Every once in a while, someone will email me and ask, whatever happened to that money? Well, we should ask Rabbi Dov Zakheim, shouldn't we? Because nobody ever asked about it. It obviously went to pay off some people. It went somewhere. It didn't just disappear. So there you go. That's just the tip of the iceberg for whatever happened to the $2.3 missing trillion from the Pentagon. Where could it be?